According to statistics, there are so many of us on the planet that food production cannot possibly in any way, shape, or form keep up. With the 21st century's economical recession and explosion in human population, deficiencies in food production call for technology that is able to yield more in less amount of time. Genetic engineering does so at smaller costs to the everyday consumer. Yet consumers are scared of the potential health risks of genetically modified foods, and it is this fear that prevents the further development of genetically modified foods, in particular commercialization of China's modified BT rice. With just over 1.3 billion people, China is the world's largest and most populous country, representing a full 20% of the world's total population. With such a huge population, food becomes an important factor for the nation. For decades, large-scale use of pesticides in China has directly contaminated the surrounding soil and water quality, posing a serious threat to the nation's biodiversity and public health. This is because China mainly relied on traditional farming. Over time, traditional farming became inefficient as it required confronting problems with pests, diseases, and low soil fertility. Through the absence of traditional farming, genetic engineering became largely industrialized through Monsanto. Established in 1901, Monsanto became one of the few corporate giants to industrialize genetically modified foods within the United States. By inputting patented genetic safeguards into the crops, the company was able to produce plants that were essentially immune to the heavily used pesticide known as Roundup. Since then, Monsanto's history has been littered with unceasing attempts to seize control of food production. The only reasonable solution, or in this case the best solution, seems to be stronger food regulations. Particularly, China's implementation regulation on agricultural biological genetic engineering, known as the IR standards, proposes to increase national regulation on GM crops. Most of the past inefficient laws have been made on a local basis through small governmental sectors. Instead, what China needs is a national regulation, a basis that local governments use as a foundation to work from. This is exactly what the new IR standards propose on behalf of GM foods. The implementation of labeling through either the Law of the People's Republic of China legislation or the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress, known as NPC, guarantees the leadership of national legislation in creating local regulations and that it will actually work. Most importantly, this solution focuses on building consumer trust where other policies do not, and without consumer trust, the advancement of biotechnology will no longer continue and the overpopulated masses of the earth will suffer as a result. It is urgent that China take matters into its own hands.